If I'm Ruben, then you Clay Aiken, but second place gets nothing. So get up at this godforsaken booth. The truth is you sadly mistaken. Proof I'm better than layman. Shoot, I'm super.
Let's talk about NWA Power. This is actually a pretty good episode here. At least it finished strong. So, October the 5th, 2021. So Camille starts the show and she says Latimer and Aldis are like brothers. They fight, but they get over it. And then when she was asked about Melina, said she didn't attack Melina for no reason. It was because Melina was talking all that crap out of her head hole. She said that Melina is old, and that she's so old that they started calling her a legend. But saying that we use that word very loosely when discussing Melina. And that one of these days she's going to get in the ring and she's going to break her brittle old bones. And I like this. You know, I didn't mind this promo. Look, I'm not a fan of Camille talking because she's a bumpkin. And it's very hard to take her seriously when I just think peas and cornbread every time she talks. Every time she cuts a promo, I think NASCAR. I think Kentucky Derby. You know, it's very weird. But at least the content was good on this one. She hit Melina pretty low by calling her old. And that ought to get the fighting spirit of Melina up, all riled up. It also set up our main event. So let's get into the main event because this was actually pretty good. So the main event, Nick Aldis and Tim Storm versus Tom Latimer and Chris Adonis. So this, of course, is based off last week when Tim Storm was getting into it with Tom Latimer and Nick Aldis decided to go in there and try to calm things down. In this match, Tim Storm was on the defensive most of the match as he was getting worked over Tom Latimer and Nick Aldis. During their portion of the match, they actually shook hands before the match started. And they actually sort of got into a pretty sort of clean wrestling match where they didn't tear into each other with punches and kicks and all that kind of stuff. And so it was pretty solid. So at one point in this match, Velvet Sky called Nick Aldis Magnus. Dude ain't been Magnus in like 8 years, and she's still calling him Magnus. In any event, Aldis defeats Latimer with a victory by countering the victory roll. So it's basically a roll up. After the match, they offer to shake hands again, which they do. Latimer shakes hands, but Camille is pretty pissed outside the ring, and Latimer isn't quite happy himself inside the ring. He's not happy. She's not happy. And but they shake to show respect. Then Aldis wants Latimer to shake Tim Storm's hand. He does so, then he hugs him, which is always super suspicious, right? After Latimer hugs Storm, Chris Adonis crept up from behind and hit Tim Storm in the nuts. Just boom, low blow. This, of course, gets Nick's all this attention. He's like, bro, what are you doing? And then when his back is turned, Tom Latimer hit him in the nuts. Then Latimer goes outside, gets a chair, beats both of them with the chair, power drives Nick Aldis twice, a third time also on the chair. Joe Galley is pissed. He is really fired up on commentary. This bastard, this son of a bitch. He was real bad. They did a stretcher job with Aldis. They rolled him out of the ring. Strictly Business did. So apparently Nick Aldis is out of Strictly Business. Well, I guess that's to be determined. In any event, they kicked him out of the ring, so he was laying on the floor of the chase. Nikki James came out there. She did a crying job where she was like, "Oh my god." They brought the stretchers. This was so funny because he was down and out. Look, I respect the stretcher spot. It was good, but it was botched to hell. Because they lifted him like a sack of potatoes to put him on the stretcher. That's not how you put people on stretchers. You get the flat board on there, you strap him down, and then you move that up to the, he took 3 power drivers, one of them on a chair. So you want to stabilize his neck, right? They just had his neck flopping around like They didn't put any thought into it. But that's me being, a bit over analyzing the situation. But this was a great. This was great. It continues Nick Aldis' redemption run, where he is trying to make good on all the crazy stuff that he's done. And now he's been kicked out of his own group. He's been bit by the dog he raised. Latimer and all of these guys are the guys that he recruited and brought in, and now they've kicked him out. So I'm interested in what that means for Nick Aldis. I'm interested in what that means for Tom Latimer and Chris Adonis and Camille. I'm very interested in what this means for them, all of them. And this is going to be an interesting scenario. And I like that. I like that it was interesting. All right, so rewind back to the beginning of the show. Trevor Murdoch, he talked about how he went through hell to be world champion, and if Jax Dane wants to challenge him when he was injured and beat up, he thinks that Jax Dane is the biggest bitch in the room, and says that if you want to come after him, you got to come correct, because he's going to bring a fight like you've never seen. Okay. Then the Pope came out, and you know what Pope do? Pope talk loud. Everybody know what the Pope gonna do. Not gonna take the underhanded route. I respect you, Mr. Trevor Murdoch. Then said next week he's gonna let everybody know what he's gonna do with his championship series victory. So next week we'll know for sure. But he has promised Trevor Murdoch he's not gonna pull up on him in an underhanded way. So, okay. I'm all right with that. The first match was a Lucha scramble, which essentially is a triple threat match, where elimination style, where both members of the team have to be pinned or submitted in order for the team to be eliminated. So it was the Ill Begotten versus Marche Rock and the Slice Boogie versus La Rebellion. So obviously La Rebellion, they're the tag team champions. They won the match. But Damien Sace got pinned by Slice Boogie. And that was a big question mark. I don't know why you would even beat him in that scenario. It came down to Mecha Wolf had to win it for his team. He ended up defeating Marche Rocket as they were the last two. Match was solid. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't very memorable either. I can't tell you a Marche Rocket match that's worth a damn. Aaron Stevens and Kratos cut a promo. Stevens was about to talk. Kratos took the microphone from him and said, "You need to find the killer inside. We lost the tag team titles because of you." And said that there's still something in there that he sees and he believes in him. But says that he's been a global superstar. You traveled the world, but you've never been accepted. And he says you've never even been accepted by your own father, which, fired up Stevens. And he says that, you need to dig deep within inside you, find that chaos and bring it out so that we can be unstoppable. And they ended up going in different directions, as Kratos went one way, Aaron Stevens went another way. He looked very dour. And I'm enjoying the Kratos attempts to motivate Aaron Stevens. It's touching in its own way. It's his way of motivating Aaron Stevens. And I guess it's, saying that he sees something within him. And I think that's actually always good, to tell people that you see good things in them. So that's nice. The next match, Judas versus James Storm. There must be a winner. James Storm wins with the last call super kick. Well, I guess, I don't know what's up with Judas. But he just took a straight L and, we're just going to move on. All right, so it was supposed to be Lady Frost versus Kylie Rae. They were cutting promos for the match. Kylie Rae was being very annoying. Talked about how excited she was, how hard she worked, and that she admired Lady Frost because she's always so cool. Lady Frost was, didn't have much to say. Then Allison Kay came out there and cut a pretty good promo and told Lady Frost there's consequences for getting in her business, and she's being civilized by not attacking her backstage, but by challenging her to a match and demanding that she fights her right now. Lady Frost is kind of ready to back down, and then Kylie Rae wanted to get involved and say, "What about me? What about me?" So it becomes a triple threat match: Kylie Rae versus Allison Kay versus Lady Frost. Kylie Ray wins the match by making Lady Frost submit in a crossface. Very weird decision to make it a triple threat match. Very weird decision for Kylie Ray to win. Okay. I don't know. I like Allison Kay though. I like her promo style. She seems to actually, find her own voice. That's really good. Hawks Aerie and Mims and Sal Renaro, they cut a promo at each other. Nothing of substance really, except for they talked about how much they got in common. Then you got Tyrus. Tyrus talked about, the group that he's a part of, which doesn't have an official name that I know of, unless it's something to do with Austin Idol. But he said that they're a group of not afraid of competition, and that Scion, aka the Masked Man, had a chance to be a part of the program but decided to go against it. And he says that he doesn't make the same mistakes as the guys before him as far as being a TV champion and wanting to wrestle everybody and face everybody, and says that his next challenger, he has decided, will be somebody who always gives it 100% and somebody who is part of the family. So win or lose, the title stays in the family, and that contender is Jordan Clearwater. So I was right. Tyrus is trying to handpick his opponents, probably in order to get to that lucky 7, even though it's not that many of them. But he's trying to avoid having any real opponents. That's cool. I don't mind that. Overall, the Nick Aldis stuff, of course, makes this show worth watching. It is top-notch wrestling storytelling. So go watch it. All right. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, donate to the channel. Thank you guys for your time, man. And I'll talk to you guys later.
Skin tone, so why attach yourself and piggyback the wealth you didn't earn or lack yourself? I'm telling you to own up to your own success and failures. It's a reason why these sleazy guys